Well, I'm bound to get some hate for this one. This will be my first album review on this channel. If you have not yet, please subscribe if you like the video. I feel like I'm going to finally get my first dislike on this video. So we're talking about the new Fallujah album that was just released less than 2 hours ago from the recording of this video. I have some notes. So I really like progressive death metal. It's my favorite genre. So I have a lot of respect for the genre. You might call me an elitist because of this video. That's fine. I am an elitist, so I have nothing wrong with that. So, how I want to rate this album. I want to look at the compositions, the lyrics, the mix, the tones, like the toms, the guitars, the bass. Originality, meeting or surpassing expectations, the artwork, concepts of the album, and the structures of the songs. So we'll go through this. Compositions, great. Generally, the music, it's what you expect for Fallujah. Compositions are really good. The songs flowed well together. It's a 50-minute album, 50 minutes and I believe 3 seconds. Just came out today, March 15th, Friday, 2019. Lyrics. Alright, so lyrics. Let's talk about the lyrics. Let me pull my little stool thrown up. Alright. So lyrics. Lyrics are kind of depressing, kind of dark, but almost miserable in a sense. I want to relate it to, there's a lot of religion, praying, that aspect, which you don't really see in death metal. I'm fine with that. Extreme metal, I'm okay with that. I have nothing against religious views. The new singer is probably not even religious, so that's fine. But, I felt like it was a story from Elijah, from the Bible. It's very, the suicidal prophet, some call him, the depressed prophet. So, the lyrics were, that sort of theme, very consistent throughout the album, throughout the 10 songs of the album. I got kind of bored with it. It's not a bad thing to write about, but I just find it kind of nearly, I don't want to say trivial because that sounds kind of mean, but I just find it kind of bland. The mix was really good. The guitars were really saturated, very thick, like they were very compressed. I wish they weren't as saturated, to give some room for maybe the bass or the kick drum to, come out a little bit more. But that's something you would expect with this band. There's some nice variation in the mix too. I like that. Sometimes the leads were kind of they kind of scaled into by scale. They kind of I don't want to use musical terms and make this confusing. So they kind of rose up to the mix, not as abruptly. Sometimes as abrupt. Sometimes you would go through. I think it was on one of the last. It was the second or third of the last song where the guitars were kind of quieter and then they just kind of leaped up after an intro, which was kind of nice. I like that variation. It's not as boring. So what you'd expect out of Fallujah. Mix was great. Compositions were really good. Originality. Basic Fallujah. Leads were pretty basic. It's what you expect. Nothing new, basically. One of the songs, there was a lead part that sounded exactly like one of the old songs. So I don't know if that was on accident or what, but it's crazy how that happens. I can see maybe, Brian James, I'm pretty sure that's his name. Brian James left, but I think he wrote a solo in one of the early albums, and then one of the solos on this album sounds exactly the same, which kind of sucks. He was, it's actually been a year since he's left the band. It was announced, I believe, in December or January. I made a video about that, I like Brian. Sorry if I got his name wrong. I like Fallujah, but it's not one of those bands where I know all the members and stuff like that. So meeting or surpassing expectations, originality, I would give that maybe a D plus, C minus, at best. Meeting or surpassing expectations, I kind of put that in the same boat. Actually, vocal wise, I would kind of, originality maybe a C minus. Meeting or surpassing expectations, the vocals. A lot of people are going to be talking about the vocals, and I don't think it fits this band. First few songs I was kind of bored, vocal wise. I got kind of used to it, and then there were some really good parts to compensate the vocals. It's just constant. There's no grit. It's something you would see from like third wave black metal. That's just me. I didn't care for him. There was obviously the clean vocals, what you would expect, but the whispering, the dissonance, yeah, it's cool. The variation of the aggressive vocals was not there. There was no variation at all with the aggressive vocals. No grit, just straight highs. Very boring. Artwork I really liked the artwork. It shows 4 figures that you can really see. And I'll show it right now. So shows the 4 figures that you can really see and the outlets of the eye. There's a lot of concepts relating to vision and eye and light. And you see these 4 figures kind of keep the eye closed or shut the eye. So I thought the artwork is really cool, and it fits the band. It fits the album. So conceptually, I think the artwork really went well with the lyrics, and the lyrics went well with the music, and they all blended in pretty nicely. So I give the artwork a check, and the concepts, the concepts were fitting, but bland. I guess they were overplayed. Structures were great. The structures are not boring for me. I really like the structures of the new Fallujah album. So, a lot of songs were between decent and boring for me. That's about at least half the album. The dullest songs, Glass House, a single off the album, I found that song completely dull. Dissonant and Cold. Yeah, I could appreciate that song maybe sometimes, but, if I'm actively listening to something, and if I'm passively listening to something, I find it dull. Maybe I just have to be in the right mood, and I'm not really that kind of person. I'm usually not in that kind of mood. What's the band? It's not 9 Inch Nails, but it starts with a D. I can't think of it. It starts with a D. I think they had that song, I Wanna F You Like an Animal. Kind of had that feel to it. My favorite song on the album, which I really, really like this song, is The Ocean Above. The really great melodies underneath the mix. They weren't like, in your face. I kind of like that with certain melodies. So it's a very, melodic, kind of fast melody. And the song was very proggy. It was a really good break. All the songs were, generally about 4.5 minutes. There was no long songs and short songs. They were all pretty consistent. And about 2 minutes and 20 seconds into the song, there's a nice break. So about halfway into the song, there's a nice break that gets very proggy. The beat of the drums throughout the whole song, especially the last half, was really nice. It was really syncopated well with the rest of the music. It's nice to pay attention to the drums in that song, in my opinion. Alright, so Ultraviolet, I found that one pretty decent, especially with the clanky bass, and that's the one that actually had variation in the vocals. I mean, very subtle. You know, I don't want to oversell that. So Hollow, it's very dissonant and rhythmic. I like that song. And Sanctuary had some nice aggression. It actually had a blast beat that went on for a while. I like that. And the rest was just okay. So I'll probably get some hate for this, but if I had to rank this, you know, I said the composition was good, expected. Surpassing expectations did not happen, but you know, overall it did not happen, but it met the expectations with the music, with drums, guitar, not really leads, and bass. Vocals and leads, I mean, leads are alright, vocals were shit. I don't want to hurt on the guy. The new singer, as you know, he's been announced a new singer this year, and it's only March. So, yeah, he plays in a pretty good black metal band. So, his vocals work well with some music and not well with progressive death metal. And I put this music in a high regard. Lyrics, bland. Mix is really good. Tones, I like the tones of, you know, snare, kick, toms, oversaturation of the guitar, overcompressed. I feel like they kind of thickened up the guitar section in that area, in that frequency area, and it made it hard to hear some of the other stuff. I feel like the guitars were very thick and low end too. So I'd put that as a negative. The bass, there's some variety in the bass. Sometimes it was clinky, sometimes it was nice and melodic. So I wish there was some more of that though. I really like that, especially in progressive death metal. You know, Cynic, some of the Job for a Cowboy, Obscura. I mean, I can go on. Some of my favorite bands. Not Job for a Cowboy, but some of their albums do have really nice bass in it. Which I'm not saying that those albums are bad. They are really good albums. Originality, I'd probably thumbs that down. Artwork was decent, but yeah, that's not as important. Composites were decent, but not as important. And structures were really good. So let's see. I'd probably give this C-. Maybe 4.5 out of 10. Actually, no. Those vocals did not. 4 out of 10. If I had to rate this in any other ranking system, let's say something fun. A ranking system that is made up of characters I like. Let's say It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I would rank it as the coffee shop lady that that Charlie is in love with. You know, everyone sees her, well, you know, Charlie sees her as great. A lot of people see this album as great, and then, you know, D and Dennis, no, it's very mediocre. It's below their expectation. And the expectation is thrown high by Charlie, and then it just gets passed around and fucked around by.
It's mostly that horrible angle that you see in porns, you know, where it's all balls and male ass just...
That is disgusting.
Who likes that? Who finds that sexy? I don't know anybody.
Disgusting.
Other balls and asshole
please stop.
men that
Please
like...
stop doing.
The old man, Frank, and Dennis, and eventually Charlie. He gets, you know, sloppy thirds, I guess. Sloppy thirds.
You know what? I don't like this bitch's attitude. Oh.
But if you didn't enjoy this video, please dislike it. If you did enjoy it, please subscribe. Alright, so rock on.
Alright, whatever. I'll wear the goddamn condom.